Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome to NoDQ&A video right here on NoDQ.com, as well as the YouTube channel and NoDQ&A videos affiliate, ringsidenews.com. Got more of your questions from twitter.com/AaronRift with the hashtag PAIV. Please answer in video. That is where you could submit questions using that hashtag. First question today comes from Arthur P. Do you think Kevin Owens is ready to be a main eventer and Universal Champion, or his gimmick needs some work? I think Kevin Owens definitely has the ability to be the top heel on the Raw roster. And now that Finn Balor is out with the injury, Kevin Owens has the opportunity, WWE has the opportunity to pull the trigger on Kevin Owens as the top heel. The only reason I could see WWE not doing that is because they want to keep Owens and Jericho as a tag team for the time being. Jericho just got off the ground recently, and WWE might have cold feet still about pushing Kevin Owens at that level. But if there was ever an opportunity to do it, now would be the time. Raw really does need a top heel, and let's face it, Seth Rollins is a guy the fans are not going to boo at this stage of the game. Really, the same can be said about Kevin Owens, but at least give him a run with the world title as a heel and see where it can go, and then maybe eventually down the line turn him face. But yeah, that would definitely be something interesting to see Kevin Owens win the Universal title on Raw. I'm not betting on it to happen. I think the odds are against it, but it would certainly get me interested in what WWE is doing and what direction they're going in if Kevin Owens ended up winning the Universal title. Got this one here from Daniel. What if on Monday Owens wins the title and Rollins turns face, then Roman can stay mid-card like the plan says? I'd love to see Seth Rollins go babyface. I would love if WWE did some sort of angle on Raw where Kevin Owens screwed Seth Rollins out of the title. Kevin Owens basically steals the pin from Rollins. Rollins has the match won. Owens gets the win, and that sets up a Seth Rollins babyface turn. I would love to see Seth Rollins as a face versus a heel Kevin Owens on top. That would be awesome. But again, I'm not expecting it. I think if I had to make a prediction for Monday, I would lean towards Seth Rollins with Roman Reigns in second place to win. I just see Roman Reigns getting back into the main event picture, especially now that Finn Balor is out due to injury. I would be surprised. I would be surprised if WWE did something we were not expecting. And I think Vince is looking for every excuse to get Roman Reigns back in the main event. WWE had to push him down a little bit because of the suspension, but now they're in a position where they need a top guy, and Roman Reigns is right there. He's ready, willing, and able. Definitely not Gable, but he's able. Roman Reigns is ready to take his Roman Empire back and be on top again. We'll see what happens. I would love to see something we're not expecting, but at this point, I'm going with either Seth Rollins or Roman Reigns to win, and Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho will continue their odd couple storyline until Jericho leaves again to resume his work with Fozzy. That's my prediction, at least. Got this one here from Simon Lee. Hey Aaron, what's next for Dolph Ziggler, and do you see him getting lost in the shuffle? I think the likelihood is that he will get lost in the shuffle, as much as I hate to say it. I think what you do next with him is turn him heel. I think it's long overdue. He's been a babyface now for over 3 years. It's time to change things up with Dolph Ziggler and give his character a fresh change. I would love to see Dolph Ziggler go heel and then do a promo similar to The Miz, where he comes out there and he's able to vet his frustrations, and you blend in real life with fiction. Let Dolph Ziggler just go out there and talk about how he's been stealing the show and he's been held down time and time again, and he's sick of it and he's not playing by the rules anymore. Just let him go out there and just say what's in his heart. Let him go out there and speak his mind. I think that would be great for Dolph Ziggler and could give him a new purpose in WWE. So that's what I would do with him. And unless they do that, if Dolph Ziggler stays a babyface, my prediction is he gets lost in the shuffle. This one comes from Mr. Yuck. Where do you see Heath Slater going? Will he ever get the big win a la 1-2-3 Kid over Razor Ramon, or perpetually jobbing out? They are a bit different. 1-2-3 Kid was just basically an enhancement talent and not really given any kind of television time. With Heath Slater, he's been on TV regularly for several years, and at some points he's been in the mid-card, other times he's been lower down the card, but he's almost always had a strong television presence. So that's the biggest difference between Slater and the 1-2-3 Kid. Now, if you're asking, will Slater ever be taken seriously and maybe get a big win that transforms him? Probably not, because he's been in that role for so long. I think it would take a lot. Now, he's been delivering some really good promos. He's definitely capable of getting the fans behind him, and maybe WWE could build him up and give him some credibility. It would really take a lot, though. It would take WWE really having a long-term plan for him, and we all know how things go in WWE when it comes to long-term planning. So I'm not expecting much. It would be nice to see him get a big win, maybe him and Rhino actually winning the tournament, although American Alpha would lose in that case. So I'm not so sure. I hope WWE does figure out something so this storyline with Heath Slater has a happy ending and he does get some kind of big win and recognition for his efforts. Got this one here from Max B. What's up with Sami Zayn? Huge emotional win at Battleground, big momentum his way, and then no matchup at SummerSlam. From what I understand, the creative team just had nothing for him, and he's in that position where WWE wants him on television, having good matches, but they do not want to push him as one of the top guys. That's the spot he's in. He's kind of in the Shelton Benjamin role from like 2004, 2005, a guy who was having great matches and had the potential to be a major star, but the company just wouldn't pull the trigger on him as a top guy. And I think that that's the same situation here with Sami Zayn. Hopefully Zayn's mother doesn't end up in a storyline at some point. But I'm really hoping that he can continue to rise in WWE and perhaps break that glass ceiling. He's one of the best performers in the entire company. He's had several Match of the Year candidates, and I think it's a shame to not have a solid storyline for him. It looks like they're doing something with him and Neville. Neville's another guy that's been lost in the shuffle, and WWE's idea is let's just put these guys together and that way they have something to do, which is a shame. I wish they had something better for both guys and an interesting storyline for each guy, but really they don't. So they're just throwing them together as a tag team and hoping it'll catch on. This one comes from @TheRealTJP. With almost all the former NXT champions having success on the main roster, do you think they should repackage Bo Dallas? Yes, I think they should make him Bo Ryder permanently, and that's not a joke. I am dead serious. I thought that was the most entertaining thing Bo Dallas ever did when he came out as Bo Ryder. Bo Ryder. I was about to say Flo Ryder. I think WWE hasn't revisited that gimmick that he did because of the fact that Bo Ryder completely outshined Flo Ryder, and WWE has this relationship with Flo Ryder. He has to have the theme song every year, it seems. But I think Flo Ryder sucks personally. Not a fan of his music, and I think Bo Dallas was just hilarious, funny as hell doing that gimmick, and I don't see him getting a major push at all. I think that in that case you might as well just let him do the comedy gimmick and let him run with it. I mean, the Bo Ryder thing was so entertaining, and just let him go out there and be funny. I mean, he's really good at it. So that's what I would like to see from him, but they haven't done anything with him. So why not? Why not do Bo Ryder? Got this one here from Ty Marshall. What are your thoughts on Paul Burchill's pirate gimmick and Reverend Yvonnes gimmick and their entrance themes? I get asked about Paul Burchill every now and then. I actually found that pirate gimmick to be really entertaining, even though it was a clear Pirates of the Caribbean knockoff. I really liked it. I liked the entrance, and it was so goofy and over the top, but it was entertaining. It made for good television. Reverend Yvonnes, not so much. I mean, it was a stereotypical gimmick, and just because this guy says testify, we'll make him a reverend. I mean, it was stupid. And Batista out there, was a complete waste of him, and just wasn't much of a gimmick, and it only lasted a couple months before WWE decided to drop it and reform the Dudley Boys. This one comes from Tommy. Am I the only one who thinks that Roman Reigns is getting slightly better reactions lately? Is there still hope for him? He was getting better reactions because he was representing the USA. He was basically out there, and not literally with red, white, and blue, but figuratively, he was representing the US against that evil heel foreigner, Rusev. That's why WWE did that whole angle to get Roman Reigns over by aligning him with America. You have the fans not wanting to boo the guy because if they boo the USA guy, they're booing their own country. So, it's a little psychological game that WWE plays with the fans. And it was working to some degree. Did not work in Brooklyn, and nobody expected it to work in Brooklyn, though. But in some of the other cities, like New Orleans and Mississippi, Mississippi's not a city, Tupelo, wherever, in those cities, Roman Reigns was getting a good reaction. So it was working to some degree. If he's right back in the title picture, things could very well go back to the way they were before. In fact, I would not be shocked if he starts getting boos on a regular basis again. Got this one here from Kyle Porter. Hey Aaron, should AJ Styles have a run with the WWE World title, and if so, for how long? Yes, as I've said before in previous videos, he should be the guy to beat Dean Ambrose. Not necessarily at the next pay-per-view, they could drag it out, maybe have a disputed finish at Backlash, and then at the next pay-per-view, No Mercy or whatever it is, they could have AJ finally win the title, and then I'd have him keep it till WrestleMania. I'd give him a long, lengthy run as champion, and let a top babyface challenge AJ at WrestleMania. Maybe Nakamura. Maybe they could have Nakamura debut on the main roster in early 2017 and have him challenge AJ. Imagine that, Nakamura versus AJ at WrestleMania for the WWE title. That would be something unbelievable. 3 years ago, I would have never predicted that. And it very well could be a possibility. Maybe not next year, but 2018. One of these days, they have to do AJ versus Nakamura at WrestleMania. They just have to, really. I mean, that's too big of a matchup to pass up for WrestleMania, in my opinion. Got this one here from Brenton. Do you see both shows getting a cruiserweight division and the champion going on both shows to strengthen the roster depth? No. The reason the cruiserweight division is on Raw is because Raw is a 3-hour show and it needs something extra to fill up the television time. SmackDown is perfectly fine as it is right now at 2 hours. There's no need to add more to it. You do not need a cruiserweight division on top of what you already have in the 2 hours. I think that would just be overkill, and the segments would be even shorter, and guys would be lost in the shuffle even more, and it would not work. It works on Raw because you have the time with the 3 hours to make it work. This one comes from Jason. So are the Dudleys really done, or are they just going back to TNA or the Indies? That's a very interesting question. I'm not sure what the deal is with the Dudleys. WWE for several weeks was teasing this breakup between the two of them, and it was reported that they had agreed to a new deal, and apparently things fell apart at the last minute and the Dudleys just decided to retire. I'm not sure what's going on. I know Bubba posted something on Twitter teasing a Bully Ray comeback. Maybe Devon decided he's done, he wants to retire, and maybe WWE's interested in bringing in Bully Ray. Maybe they're not. Time will tell. I mean, we'll know in the next couple weeks if Bubba Ray shows up as a singles in WWE. But based on what they did last week, it looks like no more Dudley Boys for sure in WWE, and that was the end of their run. Which, I mean, I felt it lasted longer than it really should have, because they came back basically as a nostalgia act, and after 6 months, they really weren't doing much. So I figured it would have lasted until like WrestleMania. It lasted longer than I thought it would. And the only thing left I see the Dudley Boys doing is maybe going into the Hall of Fame. Maybe one day they'll have one more WrestleMania match against the Hardy Boys. That would be cool. But beyond that, I think it was time to end the Dudley Boys as a tag team. Now, Bubba Ray having one more run as Bully Ray in WWE, I'd be a fan of seeing that. But at this point, nothing is set in stone. Got this one here from Wrestling Chatterbox. What's your favorite King of the Ring? I would have to go with 2002. I really enjoyed that show. Brock Lesnar winning King of the Ring, and the big match between Kurt Angle and Hulk Hogan. I believe the first time Hogan ever tapped out to somebody, which was very significant. That was a fun show. I would also say the first King of the Ring from '93, just the whole tournament I really enjoyed. Bret Hart versus Mr. Perfect was really good. And actually all of Bret's matches with Razor Ramon and Bam Bam Bigelow. I mean, I really enjoyed that tournament. That was one of the best one-night tournaments WWE ever produced. And a lot of that was due to Bret's performances, but also, you know, Hall and Bigelow, all of them worked well with Bret. So that was a good show. Bobby Heenan, Jim Ross, Randy Savage on commentary, Hogan losing the title to Yokozuna. You know, it was a pretty eventful show. So I would go with either the last one, the last pay-per-view one, or the first one in '93. That'll do it for No DQ&A video. Thanks as always for watching. If you enjoyed today's video, please share it with a friend on Facebook or Twitter. Subscribe, youtube.com/AaronRiftNoDQ. Also check out my personal YouTube page at youtube.com/AaronRift. And I will see you guys next time for more.